Just take a look at him. It's Bob. Bob is about to make zero progress for the 4th year in a row within his musical career. He's watched countless of videos on how to sweep pick on guitar or on how to play the most difficult classical guitar piece to impress his friends. No matter how long he practices these difficult things, once he plays a simpler piece, it is offbeat and clumsy, so he returns to what he loves doing most, practicing things way outside his skill level. Can you relate to Bob? Here are the 4 mistakes that are preventing you from improving and how to fix them. The first mistake that causes minimal development is not practicing regularly. And I know that this sounds, very obvious. Oh, well, I could have come up with this myself, Philip. You don't have to tell me this. I know. But there is certain amounts of times that you should practice depending on your skill level. So I believe that you should practice around 5 to 6 times a week. Keep it consistent, and also devote 2 out of those 5 to 6 times to music theory. It'll give you that upper edge against the other musicians that you're going to be competing with later on who don't know music theory. Mistake number 2 is not challenging yourself enough or challenging yourself too much. And I know that it is easy to, fall in love with the music that you know and keep playing what you know. But at the same time, you have to push yourself a bit. And you shouldn't be pushing yourself too much either. You shouldn't skip a bunch of steps and just start, playing the most advanced techniques or playing the most difficult songs just to impress your friends. You can see this in the Goldilocks rule on guitar. There's this Goldilocks zone, and that is where it is challenging to the point where it is fun, but it is not too challenging to the point where you fail. Reflect on this Goldilocks rule and the Goldilocks zone next time that you decide to try something new. Mistake number 3 is not playing in a band. Playing in a band develops your skill to play with others, and it also develops your skill to keep tempo, because if one person in the band fails to keep tempo, the entire song gets ruined and you guys have to restart and it's all a big mess, so you kind of have to keep tempo. And I've met so many musicians who are great when they play alone, so they can play the most advanced techniques they've been playing for so long, but they just don't have that chemistry with other musicians. And I'm afraid to say that the only way to practice this is by playing in a band. And I personally developed this skill by joining as many bands as possible. I currently play in 3 bands and I play different instruments in all of them. You might be asking yourself, well, Philip, why are you playing 3 different instruments in 3 different bands? Well, that's going to develop the skill of getting another viewpoint. So for example, I'm mainly a guitarist, but I play the drums in one of my bands. And by playing the drums, I get the viewpoint of a drummer and I get to see their difficulties in a band environment. And that helps with the chemistry between me and my drummer in my other band. Join as many bands as possible and play as many different instruments as possible. If you do this, you will drastically improve your capability to play with others, which is very important. The 4th and final mistake that is the most important and that I have indulged in many times in the past is not performing regularly and not taking every opportunity you get to perform. Performing in front of others is crucial I say, because once you're performing in front of others, then all of that theory and all of that practice that you've put in the past comes to the test in one single performance. And your stage presence, how much energy you have on stage, all of these things have to be practiced if you want to put up a good show. And I'm afraid to say that the only way to practice this is by performing in front of others. Now you may be saying, well, Philip, I don't have a band, I can't find a band, how am I gonna perform? Well, I personally didn't have a band either when I was 12 and I went out on the streets and I busked. I played guitar and sang, but after performing at the age of 12 in front of random people busking, I was never afraid to go up on stage again, because that was so nerve-wracking that then everything else seemed like a piece of cake when I would perform with 5 other people behind me, everyone playing their own instrument. It wasn't really a struggle anymore. There you guys have the mistakes that are keeping you a Bob. So refrain from all of these mistakes, try and solve them, and you will improve in no time. Click on this video right now, and remember, when words fail, music speaks. Mwah.